Yeah, so the bike that I have here is a new mountain bike that I just built. It's designed around a 27 plus or a 3-inch thereabouts tire. It is designed essentially as a modern hardtail mountain bike. I do a lot of randonnée bikes, a lot of road bikes. Most of my off-road bikes are sort of mixed use, bike packing or mountain touring type of bikes. So for me, doing a straight up modern mountain bike was a bit of a novelty. Good chance to try out some new things for me. This bike includes a winter-made tapered steer tube, 27 plus rigid fork. Has plenty of accommodation in the rear end. Things like through axles and post-mount disc brakes are fairly common in the mountain world. I'm starting to bring those into the rando bikes. This was a place to try those out on a test platform for me. This particular frame is set up currently as a rigid front end and a single-speed rear. It has accommodations. It's got these special braze-ons that allow it to also run rear gearing. And it's designed around about a 140 millimeter travel fork. So there's some versatility depending on where it's going to be ridden and how the rider's going to use it. This particular bike also has external routing for a dropper if I chose to put one on there. In addition to the frame and the fork, I also build the stems for these bikes. With my other bikes, if the bikes have racks, I often build the racks for them as well. Again, pretty much a straight-up mountain bike with a throwback paint job. Most of my paint, I work with some very talented painters that do most of that. It's a process that I'm interested in bringing in-house, and this is one of the first wet jobs that I painted. And I thought I'd throw myself a curveball for the first one and went for something complicated and a lot of fun. Yeah, so stuff that I haven't done a lot of, that it's not particularly new in the bike world, but as far as technology that I have had limited experience with, again, the post mount as opposed to an IS mount disc brake, the through axle was really the biggest one for me. I don't do a lot of through axle work on the road bikes. Now that is becoming a more standard feature, and I'm having more clients ask for it on the rando bikes, I will probably start doing more of it. And there are pros and cons for that application. For mountain bikes, it makes a lot of sense. So this was a great platform for me to use those in a way that made a lot of sense to me. The fully tapered steer, this uses a Paragon tapered steer tube. So it's not just an 1.1" fork stuck in a big head tube. It actually is a tapered fork. That's something that I've done with track bikes and road bikes before. This, again, was just a great application, especially for a bike like this one that's going to see time as a rigid bike and as a suspension, front-end suspension bike, rather than using an adapter race or something. It's a purpose-built fork for a convertible bicycle. And then paint really was the big one. This particular bike I built for myself as a place to try out a bunch of different concepts. And in that, bikes for me are really low risk. If I did a terrible job painting it, that's fully acceptable. It turned out that the paint job actually came out really well by my estimation, so I brought it to the show to show off as well.